Hi everyone, this is my latest video. This time around it's me going to be showing off my Captain Beefheart collection. I've been into his music for the past sort of 10 or so years, and like everybody who listens to his music, I was a bit sort of puzzled at first. But the thing is, Don Van Vliet, who was a friend of Frank Zappa, unlike Frank Zappa, he wasn't a musician as such. He used to play the piano very badly and very strangely, and he used to get really good musicians, including people like John French, to transcribe it. And what you had were these very sort of jagged, sort of off-kilter melodies, which they do take a bit of time to sink in, and but eventually I did get into his music. So right, I've got my complete collection here. I've got one sort of bootleg album lying about, which I bought on Record Store Day, which is absolutely hideous. I've been looking for my copy of Bongo Fury, and it doesn't exist. Which is, that album's a collaboration between Zappa and Beefheart. But I've got the sort of main studio albums, so I'm going to show them off, and they're sort of a mixture of stuff on vinyl and CD. So first off, just get it out. There it is. Safe as Milk. I've got this one on CD. This is a stereo version, and this Sunday's reissue, which is really good. It's got I'll show you now. It's sort of recreated the label, the insert, and there's a sort of an essay in there, plus the bumper sticker. Neat. Okay, that's on the side. Now, those are really good pressing. I think it's RTI who pressed it. The only downside is they sort of put it in those crappy sleeves. Yeah, that's the first one. So yeah, there's also, I think this was released later on in the early 80s or something like that. I can't remember. This is Mirror Man, which I think they were sort of outtakes from the second album Sessions. I think they were sort of cancelled or something like that. And yeah, here's the second album, Strictly Personal. I don't really like this one as much as the first one. It has its moments, but yeah, I'm not exactly crazy about it. So yeah, on to Captain Beefheart in the Magic Band's most famous album, Trunk Mass Replica. And I have 2 copies of it on vinyl and on CD. Do you know, I have mixed feelings about this album. It's strange, listened to it over the years. The first time when I first heard it, I maybe liked a couple of songs. Then after that, I'd rediscover it, maybe like a couple more, and so on and so forth. Right now I like about half the album. There's some really great stuff on there, but I can't listen to this album from start to finish. I still find it a bit of a chore. So next up is, now I've got this box set, Sun Zoom Spark. This is actually the second copy. The first copy I bought the bonus disc, which is sort of outtakes from I think it's mostly outtakes from the Spotlight Kid. It was damaged around the Running Groove area, so it's unplayable, which was a right bummer, because even though it's a bit disappointing, the bonus disc, they really could have done more. They were only scratching the surface. It is the best quality you can get. A lot of the bootlegs are slightly iffy in quality. Okay, so first off, this is the first one in the box set. Lick my decals off. Now this one I do actually like a lot more than I do Tramp Mask. It's a lot more tighter as an album. lot less of a chore to listen to. And there's some of Captain Beefheart's best stuff. I mean, the title track, "I Love You Big Dummy," and the last part of the second side is usually my favourite bit. I mean, Space Age Couple, Smithsonian Institute Blues, very good album. Then this one, which is Spotlight Kid and Clear Spot, they usually get released as one CD, which I've got. Yeah, there's got a CD in there. I mean, this is a very good album. Well, the second one is, but yeah, the first one, Spotlight Kid, isn't that good. Sorry. I mean, this has some great tracks on there. I mean, was it Alice in Blunderland, Click Clack in Grow Fins, and I'm Gonna Boogalise You Baby. There's about 4 decent tracks on there, but the rest of it is a bit bland. Yeah, the next album was Clear Spot. Now this album is just amazing. There's, I mean, the sort of Tragic Band albums which came after, which I'm going to show in a minute. They had Captain Beefheart trying to do mainstream, which didn't really suit him. But this one was sort of a sort of midway thing. You know, it's weird enough to please the purists, or sort of middle of the road enough to sort of please the people whose taste is a bit more mainstream. Really like that record. Yeah, and here's the outtakes disc. Which, this is the one I just got through the day, and it's it does actually play. But unfortunately, the only downside is that the sort of case for the Clear Spot is damaged. But hey. So yeah, these are 2 Tragic Band albums. I spoke about these in an earlier video. This one, Unconditional Guaranteed, is pretty lame. Don't really like that, but the first track, Upon My Own Mind Peaches, are okay. This one also isn't very good, Blue Jeans and Moonbeams. But there's some decent tracks on this as well. The first 3 tracks are part of Special Things to Do. Same with Blues, and one of my favourite Beefheart tracks is on there. Observatory Crest it's a very good song, very sort of shimmery, laid back, beautiful. So yeah, next up, I mean, there was a few years where there was no activity at all. Then there was a failed, aborted sort of album for Frank Zappa's label. Unfortunately, I don't have that. It's been released. I can't really sort of bring myself to spend £30 on a CD. But yeah, next album is Shiny Beast Backchain Puller, and this was the first Beefheart album I really got into. It's probably his most accessible, you know, other than Safe as Milk. I mean, Tropical Hot Dog Night is just one of my favourite Beefheart tracks. It's sort of a Latin sort of disco track where sort of Don Van Vliet sort of shouts bonkers lyrics, you know, about flamingos in a fruit fight. Alright, then there's 2 more albums with a slightly different lineup. Doc at the Radio Station is probably one of my favourite Beefheart albums. I actually interviewed Gary Lucas, who played on this, and we ended up talking more about Jeff Buckley. It's like, sod Jeff Buckley, I want to talk about Beefheart. I don't know how that happened, but we ended up talking about that. And if I knew, I would probably want to talk about Vivian Stanshall, because the 2 of them actually met briefly in the 70s. But yeah, brilliant. the last track, Making Love to a Vampire with a Monkey on My Knee, you know, brilliant. And then the last one, what was it, Ice Cream for Crow. I mean, it's a good album, but it's not his best. I mean, there's a title track. There's a track, Hey Garland, I Dig Your Tweed Coat, which is one of his more sort of spoken wordy pieces. It's very good. But yeah, I mean, I think he left quit music on a high, really. You know, if only more artists would do that. Right? But yeah, that's about all I've got to show you. I am thinking of maybe expanding it, but there's so many sort of, I've got my fingers burnt sort of going into the whole bootleg thing. There's a lot of crap out there, but I'd like to get my fingers on a lot of the Spotlight Kids sessions, because you know, there's a lot of really good stuff that just didn't really end up on albums. But yeah, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, I've got a ton of stuff coming through. Well, not exactly a ton, but I've got some stuff coming through. At the end of the month, you know, there's some really exciting releases. I mean, there's a new sort of Sleaford Mods album coming out on the 24th. Plus, there's a really sort of good sort of Welsh language album, which I've been listening to on repeat. It sounds a bit like Broadcast. So I'm getting that at the end of the month. But I'll be showing them off later. But until then, goodbye.